Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to be here in front of you today to discuss Hustler Fund. Hustler Fund si pesa peke yake. It is more than that. As you were told, there is no greatness in being poor, isn't it? All of us aspire to do great things, and that is why the government gave us a second opportunity for those of us maybe who had a bad credit history, and we could not get anyone to assist us. But before I get into the Hustler Fund, there is something that resonated with me. I think when the Daktari who was talking about the nuts, and one of the things that came to my mind when she was speaking, there is this quote by Albert Einstein that says that, is it coincidence is a way of God remaining anonymous? You know that? So when, I think 2 years ago, I was driving. I was a lecturer at Embu University, so I was driving, and then one particular day, James Karundu sends his if you know James Karundu, he's one of those people who really motivates. So he sends a particular article every single Monday at 5 a.m. So at this particular day, I have received those things for 10 years, but it never spoke to me. But that particular day, it spoke to me, and you know what I did? I called him, and he told me, please enroll to this entrepreneurship class. There is a free whatever that is coming up, and I just want you to be there. I surely was there and very eager, and that really started a journey for me that culminated into the writing of my book here. It is called Thrive. It is all about how do we live our lives in a financially independent manner, because all what we are doing, or the reason why we are seated here, is because tunataka pesa, si ni kweli? We all do not want to struggle. Why should we struggle? And yet God has given us brains, has given us people to walk the journey with us. And that is why even the church is actually bringing entrepreneurship here. So that, I thought it is good to share that, because remember, you will never have one thing that really tells you this is the path to take, but be observant, because that is the only way God will actually speak to you and tell you what is it really that is in it for you. So today I'm here representing the Hustler Fund, and I will just start by one quote here from William Clinton. It turns out that advancing equal opportunity and economic empowerment is both morally right and good economics, because discrimination, poverty, and ignorance restrict growth, while investments in education, infrastructure, and scientific technology research increases it, creating more good jobs and new wealth for all of us. So remember, where you are, you are tasked to actually create wealth for everybody around you. So again, if you look at the numbers, you'll actually realize that, yes, we have a total employable population of about 29 million. But most of them are actually not employed. Only 18 million of people are employed. And of the 18 million, 14 million are actually employed by you, the entrepreneur. So no matter what the government wants to do, they cannot actually achieve anything if you, the entrepreneur, you're not pulling your part. So the solutions for this country actually falls with us as the entrepreneurs. So we must do whatever it takes for us to be able to deliver what we need to deliver. And again, I looked at some statistics from Financial Access, and it was very clear, in as much as we are saying we are the drivers of the economy as entrepreneurs, only about 3.9 million people are actually running successful businesses. So wengine tunahangaika. So we need to make sure that we are taking these particular opportunities that are being given to us. I think ABSA spoke, KIE spoke, but what is it that you're doing? Other than listening, are you actioning? Because listening is one thing, and there can be a lot of activity. Nimetoka hii conference, nikaongelesha huyu, nikamwongelesha huyu, akaniambia, akasema, but what are you doing? Action is what is going to make the big change that you really want. So let's make sure that we are action people, because we have to create a path for God to pass through, isn't it? We have to. So we have to actually move a step further and help that. So the other thing was, when you look at the Hustler Fund and maybe some of the conversation that the government was driving, if people are retiring, where do they go? A lot of people have not saved for their retirement, and statistics is there. Only about 3.9 people, I think, and my colleague here, who has been in the industry, we'll talk more about that. He's an expert in that, Simon Wafuba. People are not saving for their retirement. So you're actually being forced to work for your retirement. So, and that is why, as we will be discussing some of the key pillars of the Financial Inclusion Fund, savings is one of the key pillars. So we want to make sure that we not only do we have 3.5 million people actively saving for their investments, but all of us here can actually say, we are working towards our retirement. We shall not be strong forever. We shall actually need some help, and that help better be that we have saved for it. So I now jump into the Financial Inclusion Fund. The Financial Inclusion Fund, which is the Hustler Fund. So the legal name is Financial Inclusion Fund, lakini ya mtani, Hustler Fund. So under the Hustler Fund, there are two things. You look at the person, what is the end goal of what you want to do? You need to make sure that this particular person lives a more holistic life at the end of it all. Then you take a next second step and ask yourself, how can I help this person achieve what they want to do? So under the personal holistic, maybe the personal wellness, the person, what you want to help this person is, there are pillars that we are actually working towards that. One of them is, let's talk about affordable credit, because that is what we know, and it will straddle both ways. That is for the personal and for the business. Then we have the other thing about healthcare. People are dying because of lack of maybe support that they need. And we are going to look at what is it that the government is doing through the Financial Inclusion Fund to actually help with that. The other thing is about housing. I will not talk much about housing, but I will show you what the people who did, how much have been saved through Boma Yangu, and what is it that you can do, you as a person who is participating in the Hustler Fund, how can you benefit from that? And yeah, so those are some of the things that I will look at. Then, on the business side, remember, there are a couple of problems that have been identified that face businesses. One of them is, again, affordable credit. And that is what the Hustler Fund is known for. Then, after that, there is capacity building. Yes, there are a lot of government institutions that are actually doing capacity building, lakini maybe we don't know about them. So I think the beauty about these conferences, it brings all these people together. Like what KIE has done, we have just been told about KIE. I think there is Kirdi. There's so many things that are happening in the government, but hatujui. And again, what the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And so, at least, one thing that God has done is talk through the church so that they can actually get the knowledge that we so desire. And then finally, there is this thing of, I will build the best product watakuja. Right? I don't know if any of us has read the book 0 to 1. That is one of the notions. But one thing we must know today is, nitajenga, lakini lazima nitawaambia ili wakuje. But at the same time, what help can we get today to get to where we want to go? So on the affordable credit, and I will just maybe brag a bit in terms of the money that has been able to be circulating. As we speak today, about 32 billion has been lent out, and about 22 billion has come back. So it means that there is this person who really needs this credit. So the only thing that you can help us, omba na ulipe. Tumekubaliana? How many of us have borrowed through the Hustler Fund? Kama ujaomba, please just star 254 hash, register now. We want feedback as well. We were told data is what is going to help us make decisions. So if you have not borrowed, please star 254 hash. We want to understand if you understand what you are looking for. Then number 2, kama umeomba, please star 254 and do what? Repay. Dawa ya deni ni kulipa. And you can imagine what that amount of money can do to this economy. So we have to make sure that we are responsible Kenyans and we are actually helping. Imagine today, about 7.1 million people have borrowed and repaid more than 1 time. The highest person has borrowed more than 50 times. Ameomba akilipa, ameomba akilipa, ameomba akilipa. For the number of people who borrowed and got a limit enhancement, about 1.5 million have actually been enhanced their limit. So kama wewe unasema mbona sipati, labda ulipi. Sinivo. So you need to help us help you. Are we together? So about 7.1 people have borrowed more than 50, some of them have borrowed more than 50 times. And what has happened is we had the initial product, which was the personal loan product that started, where you could get 500 shillings. And some people actually got all the way to 10,000. But what did we say? 500 ni ya kufanya nini? Right? What does that remind us? The parable of the talents. Sinivo? So you have to realize that lazima uweke iyo kidogo so that God can use it and bless you. Ukisha kula, alafu Mungu atapitia wapi. So make sure that you're using that money to at least grow. So after the personal loan product, on the 1st of June, the president launched the Chama product. The Chama product is, we can actually get more by coming together. We are insuring against we are insuring each other. So if, for example, my initial limit was 2,000, if I come in and borrow through the Chama, I cannot get 3 times. So now hiyo ni pesa yenye unaweza tumika. You can actually grow your business. Then in addition to that, the biashara product is actually coming up, whereby you can actually borrow as long as you have registered your business through BRS. So again, there you get a maximum, at least a minimum of 10,000. So the thing is, if you don't have your credit history, that we can vouch for you that huyu anaombanga na anawezana kulipa, we might not be able to actually grow you. Then the other thing is, after now we are done with us, we are going to work. We cannot. You see, when KIE said the minimum they can lend is 100,000. Sisi ni mahasla, so we cannot get to 100,000 yet, but we shall get there. So there is another product that will be coming in the 3rd, 4th phases that we will be able to bridge you to get closer to where KIE is or where Uwezo Fund is. So in a nutshell, you have to take action. You have to be the person that you really are. You have to see where you want to go and then take action for you to go there. So affordable credit is one of those things. The other thing is savings and pension. Watu wengi wanaulizanga aje na pesa yetu inaenda wapi? So one of the assurance is the money is going to be invested in line with the governance structure of the Retirement Benefits Authority, whereby there will be very independent people who are actually overseeing your investments. As we speak today, from the people who have borrowed, there is 1.6 billion already saved. Of the 1.6 billion saved, those people are going to get a return that is equivalent to the treasury bill. Who can tell me where the treasury bill is today? The treasury bills ni tunakopesha serikali pesa. Who would take a guess of what that rate is? 10-11%, right, on the short end. So imagine your money, instead of staying in the bank, you're actually getting 10-11%. So that is something that I think is good to write home about. People are also saving on a voluntary basis. About more than 20 million has been saved over that. The aim is to make sure that in the next 5 years, everybody can say, I have 50 to 100,000 that has been saved, and I can be able to achieve something with that. And that money, the second thing is, we are going to help you actually write and maybe get an NHIF with it, get affordable housing with it. So we are working with the Ministry of Housing so that you get priority on the affordable housing scheme that they are running. So if you look at Boma Yangu, people who are just voluntarily saving for housing, they have saved about 1.8 billion. So you can imagine, unaweza sema, people are making this, but people are taking action. So you need to make sure that you're taking action so that you don't see others succeeding. Na wewe unasema ni shida yangu ni nini, and I have been praying. You know, you have to pray, but actually also take action. Then on capacity building, I think there are a lot of things that are being done, whereby what can we do to help you succeed in business? So we are not going to do that as individuals or people in the Financial Inclusion Fund, but we have a lot of government institutions that are doing that. KIE, there is another one called Kenya Institute of Business Training. They will actually handhold you, and at a very minimal cost, to just make sure that you have all the basics of running a business. When you talk about the basics of running a business, what are these? Pillar number 1, am I the right entrepreneur, and who do I need? You know, it is okay to just say, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not outside, I'm inside. And it is okay. Sinevo, just remaining employed and making sure that I'm making businesses work. Then number 2, I need the right product. How can I scale this product? It is very, very important. I have the right product, I can scale it. Then number 3, I have the right market or the go-to-market strategy. Who can help me walk that journey? Then number 4 is what? Processes. Because no matter how good a product is, if I cannot replicate and reproduce it, it is as good as that one only. So let's create processes. And then finally, do I have the right funding? Sisi tunakupatia pesa kidogo. But remember, banks are here. So the Financial Inclusion Fund is not to maybe grow you to the highest level, but it's to de-risk the person who cannot get funding elsewhere. We grow them so that they can be able to be talked to by ABSA, they can be able to be talked to by KIE, because if we do not do that, this person will remain where they are. So it is really rehabilitating and making sure that you can actually be able to get all that you want. Then this is the magic. All this data, as we speak today, we have more than 21 million people registered on our Hustler platform. Imagine if you can market to those people, right? Imagine if you can be able to have this as a market. So we are creating that platform as the platform to be a marketplace. If you register, you can always be able to market your products there. If I have vegetables in where? Vegetables come from where? From Kimende, or from where, around there, right? And imagine someone in Mombasa. They can actually say directly, hey, unataka iyo, those cabbages. So we are trying to make sure that is a clear market where you can have a clear market that you can market to. So, in conclusion, remember, empowering individuals is empowering a nation. So, with the right plan, people and execution everything is possible. So at the Hustler Fund, we are ready to walk with you the journey. Please, we need a lot of feedback, but at the same time also, walk with the journey with the people that are closer to you, and that is where the Chama product has come, so that we can actually create and be our each other's accountability partners. Thank you.